This is VOA News. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton. The U.S. Justice Department has released a more detailed inventory of what FBI agents found at Donald Trump's Florida estate last month. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani has the story.
The inventory reveals the extent to which classified material was kept haphazardly at Mar-a-Lago in boxes and containers mixed with newspapers and clothes. Agents found 43 empty folders marked with classified banners. 28 more labeled Return to Staff Secretary or Military Aid were also empty. The list does not make clear what may have happened to the documents inside. The department says there was no secure space at the home for sensitive government secrets. It started a criminal probe focused on their presence and efforts to obstruct the investigation. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
U.S. officials say they've compelled Iran for a second time this week to release U.S. military sailed drones that it tried to seize at sea. Iran has been building up its naval presence in the Red Sea near the coast of Yemen, where Tehran backs the Houthi movement. The incident follows exchanges of fire last week between U.S. troops and Iran-backed groups in Syria. Iran state television earlier on Friday acknowledged the Iranian Navy released 2 U.S. maritime drones in the Red Sea, but accused the American unmanned vessels of jeopardizing maritime safety. It did not provide evidence. And the Biden administration has announced more than $1 billion arms sale to Taiwan as U.S.-China tensions escalate over the status of the island. From Washington, this is VOA News. An energy battle between Russia and the West over the war in Ukraine revved up Friday. Moscow delayed the reopening of its main gas pipeline to Germany, and G7 nations announced a price cap on Russian oil exports. Russian energy giant Gazprom said it could not resume the supply of natural gas to Germany just hours before it was set to restart deliveries through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. Moscow blamed the change on a technical fault in the pipeline. A spokesman for the European Commission said Friday on Twitter that Gazprom acted under what he called fallacious pretenses to shut down the pipeline. Moscow has blamed Western sanctions that took effect after Russia invaded Ukraine for hindering the maintenance of the gas pipeline. A Myanmar junta court has sentenced ousted Democratic leader Aung San Suu Kyi to 3 years in jail for electoral fraud during the 2020 election, which her party won in a landslide. International observers have said the poll was largely free and fair. A source with knowledge of the case reported the news Friday, saying the 77-year-old leader was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment with hard labor. Detained since the coup last year, Suu Kyi has already been convicted of corruption and a clutch of other charges by a closed junta court and sentenced to 17 years in prison. The military has canceled the 2020 election results and said it uncovered more than 11 million instances of voter fraud. The junta has said fresh elections will be held only when the country is peaceful and stable. NASA is moving ahead with a planned moon rocket launch. AP correspondent Lisa Dwyer has that story.
NASA is counting down towards its second attempt to launch its new moon rocket, the most powerful ever built by NASA. Fuel leaks and a bad engine sensor foiled Monday's try. Speaking on NASA TV, NASA's Jeremy Parsons says they are optimistic for this Saturday's launch.
If the conditions with weather and the hardware align, we'll absolutely go. And we have the right team at kind of the right time. So in those statistics, right, those probabilities go way up if we get 2 attempts off before the end of this window.
NASA says they've fixed the leaks and will work around a faulty sensor for the launch.
This is a test flight, right? And so while I feel very good about our procedures, when you look the team in the eye, they're ready. We can't control the weather. And so on any given day, there is risk that we'll be able to get off.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
A suicide bomber struck a packed mosque in western Afghanistan on Friday, killing at least 18 worshippers, including a prominent cleric loyal to the ruling Taliban. Police said at least 24 were also wounded in the attack. Marissa